Because technology has evolved so much, the capabilities are broadening so quickly, you can also now think about the other side of the balance sheet, which is assets and revenue, right? So it's not only about what is my business risk and business liability, but it's what is my opportunity to grow and to thrive and to take this data and connect it to other parts of my organization, or find processes that are optimizing or suffering, right? And make a difference, make a change, right? And I think that is the mindset shift, right? From guns and gates, perimeter protection to, well, now this technology, these sensors, this platform has the ability to connect to my ERP system or my attendance system or my, whatever supply chain management system, asset tracking system, which expands globally. And now, that data can also be parsed with my suppliers' data, right? And now, so the connections that are now possible that maybe you and I can only just imagine today, but maybe real tomorrow, we can set the groundwork for maximizing that, leveraging that, and building an ecosystem of products and capabilities that hone in on what you brought up before, which is, what are my business objectives? What are my organizational objectives, right?
100%.
And that's, I think, the magic sweet spot, right?
That is, yeah. I mean, you hit it perfect. That was exactly correct. Because once you get past that understanding of liability, then you move right into that profit center. I always say, look, you can get to profit centers through technology and build that case for revenue. Wow, you win. Right. You win. I mean, every single time now these days, it's all about that. And I think, it's fascinating too, because I kind of knew some of this in the past. And why? Because as I moved from physical security to cyber and IT, I realized, okay, I see that value. No, we weren't there. I mean, back early 2000s, we were still evolving as apes, I think.
Yeah.
But now we've evolved to a certain degree to realize, wait a minute, and technology has gotten there quickly. We thought that it was going to even take longer, right? Analog, we thought was going to go away, another 10 years from now, right? I think some people were hoping. I always say, it's a terrible drug, hopium, and not opium, hopium, I call it. It is fascinating because you get people really, believing in that. And I realize, unfortunately, that's it. It's, it's past. The train has left the station. So I think at the end of the day, you nailed it, because I think what it boils down to is when you see the translation of liability into business opportunity.
Right.
That's huge, right? Yeah, risk and liability become the deterrent to potential, unfortunate liability. But if you can change that from liability to business opportunity, and to really that value proposition that everybody's really looking for, wrong to say return on investment anymore, because it's not. I don't think there's no such thing. I think that's almost a dead art at this point, because it's not about a return on investment, because the investment should never equate how much money you can make. I always think it's fascinating because we always say, well, I just want to be able to pay for this system. It says, don't you understand? The system is already paying for itself. And you're now looking at a profit center. So why are you even making a decision on how much you're going to spend? You realize that that's fascinating, because when you get to a situation where organizations goes, it's not about the money I'm spending, it's how much I can make using the technology. If that's a business model, then I win all the time. Yeah, it's interesting. It's I think we've crossed that chasm at this point. I think, and those who aren't will stay on this other side of the chasm. That won't cross. And I think they'll always be in search of a bridge that isn't there.
So I think in today's world, being an integrator is pretty challenging. I think even the term of what an integrator is evolving as, different people are morphing into the space and it's becoming a part of their service offering and so forth. But I think to be successful going forward, you have to be willing and sort of proactive about thinking about new revenue streams, because I think the old ones are eroding, right? So service sales are declining, right, as people shift into the cloud. So, how do you capture some of the recurring revenue, I think, is a huge question. There's certain ways that can be done. And so that's, I think, a critical aspect, is just having that willingness and to go out and explore new business models and think about what that looks like, and be really understand that it's not coming back the way things were before, but there are opportunities going forward. And so you have to kind of plow forward into the unknown, take chance, and take a little bit of risk to test new models and play ball with that sort of new paradigm, right? So I think that that's a critical aspect of this. I think leaning heavier into the, you could almost call it like the last mile of the sale, right? So like everything, manufacturers don't want to be physically present on the premise of our customers, right? We want to deliver a solution, we want to architect an engine, we want to ship you a product. Ultimately, we want to rely on the installers to deliver all of that value and to turn the lights on, turn the dials on, and make sure that it's all working the way it's intended and that it's integrating with the rest of the facility and everything else that's going on within the organization. So I think leaning into that aspect of installation, leaning into the aspect of commissioning, consultative, integration of the solution within the rest of the other equipment on site, and being an expert into the vertical specialization, understanding what else could be in play in this facility, in this organization, and driving the cohesiveness between all of these different systems, right? I think is another element of really what the future of the business looks like for integrators to continue to capture market share and capture value for customers and keep the mind share in the customer's mind.
So I think everything you'd stated was spot on in regards to the set challenges for the integrator today. The revenue centers has shifted, absolutely. And one of the things that I found in conversing with some of my clients who are integrators as well, is that their biggest challenge, of course, is people still. People are going to be their biggest challenge for going forward for the next probably 10, 15, 20 years because of the need to find the people that they need to evolve within their organization, retain those people. And I think it's becoming easier to retain. It will become easier over time because I think that in their evolution as integrators, rather than and integrators, which, yes, you're right, programmers, commissioning, trusted advisors, not as much to the fact that they're hanging cameras and hanging, systems, right? They have to become much more capable with respect to those services. But also in regards to selling services that are complementary to their model, right? Building out an organization that takes advantage of the challenges and problems that end users have when they start buying intelligent systems. So it's interesting because I do believe in the prior conversation we had was, how does it become a revenue center for an end user when you deploy technology? Well, those present a huge opportunity for the integrator. I think understanding cyber potentially in some cases could be an advantage, especially in the regulated markets, and having a cyber service that has the ability to help the clients, at least on the basics of cybersecurity and IT. Having services that help them tune their systems for operational needs or requirements. Be business focused to a certain degree within the vertical. So these are all things I think that are becoming more valuable to the end user. And I think one of the challenges for large global end users is the ability to get the job done on time, delivery of the systems, and do it in a way that's commissioned to the requirements, as you said, of the client. And have those people that interact with the manufacturer or with the manufacturer as well as the end user, that it's deployed and used properly. Systems are deployed and used properly.
Right.
What I've found is that the challenge always is that it's not as much. I mean, service is always a challenge, but it's amazing how few integrators spend the time to really do things appropriately or right to the requirements that have been established in that spec.
Right.
So all of that room for growth for the integrator is pretty huge.
Right. It's like the number of customers who want analytics but never turn them on are astonishing, right? I mean, it's
Because they're not taught, they're not given the information.
right. Right.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
We see it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, that's where the challenges are for the integrator. The integrator has to evolve and has to understand the value of technology now, not just for the purpose of it being deployed, installed for security, but understand what this is going to turn into for the client over time. And if everybody's in line with this, it's going to be a natural process, right? I mean, even to the point for the integrator, I think it's also resources, people and resources, and how to give them value as an employee to keep them. Retaining good employees is going to be a tough one if they don't do that. Maybe easier because if they do start transforming, they'll be more appealing. Nobody, very few people, hate to say it, but very few people in the security industry got up and, when they were growing up and say, I'm going to be a security professional.
Right.
I mean, you have lawyers, doctors, the basic things, business guys. Security was never part of that. But security has transformed into its own industry at a level where, hey, maybe that is possibly one that's what the START program or those programs that are fast programming, these fast programs are what we hope to do in terms of, educating the population to say, hey, this is an industry that is unique, is promising, and really can deliver a punch if you're doing it right.
Right.
And in many ways, in some cases, some of these integrators are at their tipping point. Either they do it or they're gone.
I agree.